So we all saw it, right? That crazy moment at the Mexico City Grand Prix 2025 where the marshals almost got hit by Lawson. A really scary situation that could have gone horribly wrong. Today I want to share my view on what happened, plus show you some interesting GPS footage from F1 TV that might actually help us crack the case. But before that, let's take a look back at some similar situations from the past to understand how these things have been handled before. We're not going all the way back to the 1977 South African Grand Prix, the tragic accident of Tom Price, because that was a completely different era. Instead, let's focus on the modern era, where technology and procedures should, in theory, help avoid these mistakes. Sochi, Russian Grand Prix 2015. This one is a textbook example of how things should not be handled when a marshal goes on track to recover debris. No virtual safety car, no full safety car, not even double yellows, nothing. From the only footage available, there's no sign of a yellow flag at all. And then Vettel comes through and almost hits the marshal. Horrible images, a very poorly managed situation. 1 year later, Singapore 2016, another terrifying example. There was a safety car for an accident at turn 1, but on the restart, a marshal was still on track recovering debris, while cars were flying by at full speed. You can literally see the green light on the panel, meaning the track was live. And to make it worse, the marshal was only showing a single yellow flag. Whenever there's someone on track, it must be a double yellow always. Again, a scary and poorly managed moment. Now let's jump to the 2025 Dutch Grand Prix, the race I also attend every year as a marshal. This, in my opinion, is how a situation like that should be handled. The Williams of Sainz loses a debris on the main straight. Dangerous spot, could cause punctures, and it's a high-speed area, right? So race control immediately deploys a virtual safety car. One marshal gets ready in position by the guardrail, and when race control confirms that all cars are clear, as we can see here from the GPS, they give the go-ahead to the marshal. She steps out, removes the debris, everyone claps, and the race resumes. Perfectly coordinated. So why are these examples important to understand what happened in Mexico City? In all the previous cases, the debris was on the track and quite close to the guardrail, meaning the marshal didn't need to go far. But in Mexico, the situation was completely different. There were multiple pieces of debris, look how many from Lawson's onboard at the moment of the contact with Sainz, and they were really far from the marshal post. Look how far. The marshals had to cross the track, run into the runoff area, and then come all the way back, easily over 100 meters in total. That's way too much distance without neutralizing the race. A virtual safety car should have been deployed, no question. Now, why wasn't it deployed? Marshals never go on track by themselves. Everything goes through race control. They coordinate over radio to decide when it's safe. The key detail here is that the debris came from Liam Lawson's contact a lap before. He had to pit for a new front wing, which sets up this entire situation. After his pit stop, Lawson rejoined the track right into the danger zone at turn 1, where the marshals were working. Let's look at the GPS from F1 TV. While Lawson was in the pit, his car wasn't visible at all on the GPS. So maybe race control checked the map, saw that the group led by Norris was all the way around at turn 7, and thought that they had plenty of time to send the marshals on track. But as soon as Lawson exited the pit lane, he suddenly appears again on the GPS, basically out of nowhere. Just a few seconds later, he's at turn 1 and the marshals are still on the runoff area. That's the moment everything went wrong. At first I thought it was a bug. How can a car disappear from the GPS during a pit stop? So I checked. Here's Ocon, also pitting in Mexico. Same thing, not visible until he exits the pit lane. Then I looked at another track, Imola, with Colapinto, just to make sure it wasn't a problem with Mexico. And same result. Cars in the pit lane just don't show up on the F1 TV GPS. So we learned something important. On F1 TV, cars in the pit lane are not displayed. Now the question is, does race control use the same GPS system? I really hope not, and I want to believe they have better data. But if they did rely on a similar map, that could actually explain why they thought it was safe to send marshals on track. Still, even giving them the benefit of the doubt, I have to say, considering the numbers of debris and how far they were from the marshal post, a virtual safety car should have been deployed no matter what the GPS showed. Because at the end of the day, our safety always comes first.